Hello everybody, my name is Christina Hensley and you are on Be the Change, which is a derivative of the quote from Gandhi, we must all be the change that we'd like to see in the world. So that means you must be the change that you want to see in me, the change that you want to see in yourself, and the change in the political system, whatever it may be. But we are here to start changing and healing the world. And I have a beautiful guest with me today, and her name is Leah, and she is with
Inner Wisdom, Health and Wellness.
And she had to say that because I can't remember. So what we're going to talk about today is tapping. We're not going to talk about it. The show is not an infomercial. It's about helping people to understand the different modalities of healing. So she's actually going to teach a class for us so that we can understand what this is about. And just so you know, she also does very specific tapping modalities. So for stress, for weight loss, for sleep, for all different avenues. So we're praying that she can come on at least once a month, and we're going to do very specific tappings so that they can help you with whatever it is you need help with. Okay, so I'm going to turn it over. I'm just here to hang out and learn along with you. I'm going to turn it over to Leah.
Awesome. So tapping is also known as EFT, which stands for the Emotional Freedom Technique.
Nice.
And it's all about helping us change our energy in our body. And emotions are energy in motion. And they're supposed to stay in motion. Mm-hmm. Part of the problem that we experience with our emotions is that we don't allow them to move.
No, of course
not. We hold on to them.
Oh, of course, because we're taught that they're not okay.
Exactly.
I know as a child I was taught that anger was okay and love was okay, but anything in between was not okay. And I didn't even know how to identify them. When I first came into sobriety, I literally had a chart with little faces that showed me what my emotions were because I was so out of touch from them.
Yes. And most of us are out of touch, and sometimes from happy ones as well, because it's not just the negative emotions that we're told aren't okay. We get all these messages all the time as we're growing up and our brains are forming and we're figuring out how the world works that tell us how to be. And basically they tell us we got to be in the middle of the road. You can't be too happy, can't be too sad, you know?
I used to get asked all the time, are you ready for this? I used to get asked all the time, if what's wrong with you? Why are you so happy?
Yes.
And I would say to them, I would ask them, why don't you take a look at that question? Why are you so miserable?
Right.
That you would have to ask me this question.
Basically, emotions make us uncomfortable because we don't know what to do with them. Mm-hmm. And so when you're too happy, people go into judgment and what's going on and how come I'm not as happy as her and what's the problem, and
or she's on drugs.
Or she's on drugs. What's the matter with her? There's like so much that comes up.
Right.
With any expression of emotion.
Right.
And so, you know, normal, happy, good conversation, everyone can deal with that. As soon as you start to veer too happy or too miserable, people start getting uncomfortable.
Well, and I think that people are so used to like the, the topical conversation. You know, I practiced one day. You know how you say, hi, how are you? I literally went around all day and I said, I want to kill myself. I'm so miserable, I can't even stand it. And everybody would go, that's great. Because people aren't really listening. We're not connected,
automatic response.
Right? And it's just like, why bother saying that if you're not going to be here and now?
Yeah.
Because we aren't connected on that level. And I think that emotions equal vulnerability. Mm-hmm. And when we begin to be vulnerable, that means that we can actually open up and have a real relationship.
Right.
And people have a tendency to do this. You know, there's only certain people you allow in your circle. And it's those people who are on the same emotional level as you.
Right.
Right?
And that's part of the whole energy. We actually speak to each other on an energetic level. Uh-huh. And it often doesn't matter what the words are that are coming out of our mouth. if we're angry underneath or we're, super joyful, but we're pretending we're not, like, people get confused because the words are different than what the energy
absolutely.
that is coming off of us is actually expressing.
Well, and they say that. I took a communications class, and I think only 5% of what actually comes out of your mouth is what matters.
Right.
It's the engaging. Have you ever spoken to people and you're having a conversation and they're looking over here? And it's like, hello, I'm over here.
Right.
Hi, we're supposed to be engaged in this conversation, but you can feel there's an energy when somebody's pissed off and they walk in the room, and it shifts the energy of the other people in the room unless they have the ability to recognize that and do something within themselves.
Right.
A lot of times, if that's not shifting, I have to go away from that. I don't like it.
Well, and that's the thing, is because we haven't been taught about our emotions and about energy and how it works, it's confusing. And we often, and that's part of what we end up doing, is blaming others for how we feel because we sense something in them and we don't know how to manage that in ourselves. And so we would feel better if they weren't in the room because their energy just set us off. But it's really our own responsibility to keep us calm and centered and grounded in our own knowing and our own truth. It's our own. It's our responsibility.
Yes.
And that's part of what I love about EFT and tapping is that you're taking the power back to change and work with your energy.
Right.
And bring yourself back to a balanced place.
Oh, thank you,
Instead of just continuing, so many modalities, we have to wait until our appointment in 2 weeks to go and get fixed, right?
Right.
And I love so many modalities, and
Absolutely.
I think they help us on our journeys, and they're wonderful and necessary and help us shift in different ways. But if you learn how to do tapping, you can do it on yourself all day, every day, anytime, to help yourself take charge of how you feel and what's going on inside your body. So I just love it that it's a tool I can actually teach somebody and they can then use it all the time.
Now, how much do you normally charge for a session?
I charge $85.
Okay, so everybody here, I want you to know that you're really being blessed today because you're getting an $85 session here, right? Yes. This is a gift from God that LEAH is choosing to share with us in order to touch people, in order to share her wisdom and gift. And I think that that's a huge blessing. And I just want to I want to say thank you very much from the bottom of my heart for sharing this with us.
Yeah.
Truly.
And it's so great because you can watch this over and over again, because I think that's why a lot of people come to me, because they can't, it's hard to start working with your own emotions on your own and feel like you're doing it right and that you understand what's happening and all of that. So, people come to private sessions because they need the support.
Of course.
And so there's, that is a very valid thing, that we all need support and we need to feel like someone's on our team and understands where we're coming from. But you also can watch this over and over again and learn how to do it yourself and just take charge.
Well, I think you said a really, really powerful word, and that was right. Because a lot of people think that they have to do things in a right way. And I think that for everybody, it's their process, and their right or their whatever works for them comes as they become more connected with themselves. Right. Now, and I agree with you too that you definitely need support, because as a yoga instructor of 23 years, I never recommend doing a yoga video. It's something that you need to learn from an instructor first, because yoga is something that you end up getting a repetitive motion injury with, which means you're screwed by the time it happens. Right. It's not something that you go, ow, that's not right. And it's very important, because you do need this support. Yeah. You do need the help to understand what's actually going on here. And so I hear you. Okay, so are you ready to teach me? Now, wait, you said we were going to do something about, because I offered to be a guinea pig, which I love being a guinea pig. I wanted to, so you said something that you would normally in your classes, you would ask about what was going on for the person and that kind of thing to open up and see where to go with it.
Yes.
Is that something you're still willing to do?
Yes.
Forgive me as I adjust my bra strap.
Yes. So I think the first thing I'll do is just kind of walk people through the basics. Okay. So that they have an idea of what it's going to do. And then we'll get into a real example with you and I.
Okay.
So the first part of the process is doing what's called the setup statement.
Okay.
And we do that while we're tapping on what's called the karate chop point. And I usually do it just like this.
Okay.
It's this fleshy, fatty part of your hand. You can
Does it
do
matter
on
which
either
hand
side.
you use?
Yep.
Okay.
And you can switch. I often switch because you're going to say the setup statement 3 times.
Okay.
And the setup statement is always the same in that it goes, even though I, and then you fill in that blank with anything that is happening to you, even though I'm completely overwhelmed, or even though I have a headache, or even though I'm angry with my boyfriend. You can fill in that blank with anything that's going on that's causing emotional upset for you.
Okay.
Stress in any way. And so that's the first part, even though I have this problem. And the second part is a positive statement.
Okay.
I accept myself. I like to say I accept and love myself. And if you're watching and you're like, I don't actually accept and love myself.
Act as if.
Act as if it really triggers you and you're like, you can't, it actually makes you more emotional, then you can use something else like, I'm working to love and accept myself, or I believe this is going to help me, or you just say something positive that is affirming. Now, if you can say, I accept and love myself, that is going to just help you build that muscle of like, I actually do love and accept myself. And so the more you say it, the more you feel into it and feel it's true.
And the more you reprogram that part of your brain that is used to going into the I don't accept myself, but you're changing an actual neural pathway in your brain by repeating this.
This is changing your computer program. And we were all programmed. You know, most of it was between the age of 0 and 6 years old, like when we were young, and some of us don't even remember much from that time period, you know.
Right.
And that's when our brain was programmed. All these social cues, how you respond to certain energies and everything was like, and so it's subconscious.
Oh, of course.
We're going through life with this subconscious program that's happening, and we're like, all of a sudden we feel off and we're like, I don't understand. And so we pick something that's in front of us to blame it on. And it's not even, it's an old program. It's not even.
Right.
What's
and I've
really
been working
happening.
with, I know that I've been working with, because of the program that I'm in, we call them character defects. So I've been working with recognizing, okay, I'm feeling jealous right now. I'm being very selfish and self-centered. I give this to you, God. So I've been really working at trying to recognize what's going on for me. Because for me, what I see is, it's, you know, anytime the fingers are pointing that way, there's 3 pointing back at me. And the person that worked with me used to say, I want to talk about those, Christina.
Yeah.
And what I've come to recognize is really what it is it's an unhealed hurt in me.
Yes.
And until I heal that, this is going to continue to come up.
Right.
No matter how much I blame anybody, that, you know, and all that does is it's a distraction.
We are emotional beings. And because we don't know what to do with our emotions, essentially we're telling ourselves all day long that we're not good enough. Don't feel that emotion. Don't feel that emotion. You're not good enough. You're not good enough. It's not okay to be vulnerable. It's not okay to express yourself. It's not okay. It's not okay. So we're like subconsciously all day long, and consciously often, those little thoughts, we hear those thoughts.
Oh, yes.
Like, not good enough.
That little voice.
That little voice, we hear it, you know, but it's often talking a lot when we are not actually tuned into it and don't actually hear it. It's still going. Constantly. And so
I could have a conversation with you and it's still going in the back of my head. Yes.
So this is really a way it's your emotional freedom. You're saying, I have these emotions and I accept myself. And that's what we're reprogramming into our brain is like, it's okay to have emotions. We're still, you know, so often an emotion will come up and we think there's something terribly wrong with us. We start to judge ourselves. We start to try and figure out how we have to change our lives and do something different and move across the country, or we have to do something about it rather than just feeling it.
In DBT, they taught me that, my instructor taught me that an emotion lasts about 5 minutes. So if I choose to sit and acknowledge that emotion and sit with it and allow it to rise and to feel it, that it moves on.
Yes.
And that's something, I'll tell you, even with the knowledge and telling you this, I practiced it for the first week. She told me about it, and then it kind of fell aside.
Right.
You know, and I go back and forth because, again, we talked about it earlier. I'm a human being, I'm a spiritual being having a human experience.
Right.
And so it's really easy to get caught up in the muck and the mire, and God forbid I'm busy, and it really depends upon my spiritual fitness as to how I'm handling things.
Right.
And how much I'm choosing to be where I'm at.
Right.
Or to try and push it away, like you're saying.
At one point in my life, about 7 years ago, you know, things were really challenging for me. My relationship was falling apart, and just, you know, we had just had a new baby, and, you know, number 3. So I was just like feeling really stressed, and realized that I had these feelings coming up that I didn't want anymore. I didn't want to, I didn't want to keep feeling this way.
Right.
And I would start to feel it, and it was just like pile on syndrome, you know, of like you start feeling bad, and then you add on this, and you feel even worse, and you add on this bad thing, and, you know, until you're just like in this deep hole.
Right.
And when I learned tapping, I was like, this is my magic ticket, because I can, as long as I take action and I notice, okay, I'm starting to feel this way, that anxiety is rising, I'm starting to feel really down about myself. As long as I take action, I can shift my energy.
Yes.
And I can come back into what I know to be a part of me that is my normal, happy, comfortable, relaxed self.
Right. You found your gift.
Yeah.
And that's it. The first day I took a yoga class, I knew instantly that day that this was such an incredible way of healing that I had to share it with the world.
Yes.
And you had the same experience as what I'm hearing.
Yes.
Right? And
yes.
Because that's the gift, is when you finally recognize what it is you're here to do. There's nothing like it. And you emanate it. You have this beautiful, wonderful glow about you, and it says nothing to me other than this is what you were meant to do.
Yeah.
Oh, what a gift. How blessed are we?
Blessed.
Right? Right?
I do. I really feel blessed to feel like I finally found something that resonated with me, that helped me keep myself and bring my truth alive, and keep me centered and grounded in my own knowing of, you know, that magical place. That where, you know, balance is tricky. You know, it's, you know, sometimes we're way over here and sometimes we're way over there on the scale of, you know.
I'm bipolar, honey, please. You're preaching to the choir.
Yes, you know very well.
Thank you through, you know, being sober and, you know, I've actually got my medications down to next to nothing.
That's awesome.
Because I've tapped back into my spirituality again. And it's amazing how much you can manage, and through the right diet and your exercise, how you can manage these things without having to have all of those medications on board.
It's really about being in touch with who you really are.
Thank you.
That, I mean, so much of our stress and anxiety and chaos in our brains is because we're lost in the energy that we don't know what to do with.
The muck and the mud. And it's really, really, to me, it's, there's a saying that I loved. It was, we're always in 3 different places. We're in fear of the future, regret of the past, or we can be in the present moment.
Right.
And I know for me that as of late, mindfulness meditation has been the biggest thing for me.
Yeah.
You know, and breaking it down to simply, like, for example, a mindfulness right now would be, I'm sitting on this couch, I'm having a lovely conversation with you, and that's really all that's going on.
Right.
You know, so there's no worry in the present moment. I'm completely taken care of. My belly is full, my heart is overflowing. Do you know what I mean? It's just, it's incredible.
Yeah.
And how often we're just not
Hold.
here.
Yeah.
And what kills me is everybody on their little screens.
Yes.
I have to tell people all the time, hi, I'm up here. Can you set that down for a minute?
Right.
You know? All right, but I feel like we've gotten off track.
Okay.
I could talk forever.
So back to tapping. So the setup statement.
Okay.
Say it
Are
3
we
times.
gonna do it now?
Nope. I'm just going to go through the points now. So the points are the corner of the eyebrow, and then on the side of the eye.
Okay.
And then under the eye, under the nose, on the chin, on the chest. This is probably going to make my microphone go crazy. Under the arm, and on top of the head.
Okay.
So those are all the points.
Okay.
So we start with the problem, and then we go into just talking about the problem.
Okay.
And how I work with people is I actually speak for them.
Okay.
So I'm just we're gonna have a little conversation about what's going on for you, what your issue is.
Okay.
And then I'm just going to intuitively guess. And sometimes I'm going to be right on, and sometimes I might say things that don't really resonate with you. It's okay to say things that don't resonate with you.
And might hit me later on.
Might hit you later on that actually, oh, that resonated with me in a big way. I just didn't want to accept it.
Right, absolutely.
I didn't want to think about that yet. I wasn't ready for it, you know. And so, you know, it's different every time.
Okay.
Like how accurate I can be and not. You know,
so this would be considered an intuitive session, right?
In a way it is, yes.
Okay, this is more of an intuitive session, and this is dealing with, just so that everybody gets to know, because like I said, we're going to do different ones. So this would be an intuitive session and helping someone with a specific problem or an issue that's going on in their lives. Okay.
And it can be absolutely anything. So you'll see when we get
I've got
started.
one already. Yeah. I'm ready.
So we just talk about the issue and go around to all the different points, and we're going to go through each point a couple of times, and then I usually pause.
Okay.
And I just check in. How you doing? How do you feel? Did anything come up for you? Do you have any memories come up? Did anything resonate with you really strongly that you might want to talk about for a minute? And then we'll see, you know, we'll either go right back into doing another round.
Okay.
To bring that, you know, more to closure and more to at peace.
Okay.
Or we might take another avenue depending on what comes up for you.
Okay.
And so everything just kind of flows depending on what happens as we go.
Okay. Okay.
And this is when you're doing this on your own, you know, this is what you want to get to the point of doing with yourself, is just letting yourself talk and not trying to control what's coming out of your mouth. It's kind of a way into your soul. Like
I like no filter.
I like to have, you know, think of this as like coming back to yourself.
Okay.
A way to eliminate those blocks and fears and confusions about emotions and what's happening to you. As soon as we start to give them voice, it changes. And when you are doing this on your own, you do need to speak out loud, because the vibration of your voice is part of what's happening and helping the change happen. Okay. And helping you release and let go. Okay. So if you're just thinking it in your head, it's nowhere near as effective. Right. As if you're saying the words out loud. Okay. And you know, we can think these same things over and over and over. It's like we get these annoying reoccurring thoughts that just keep happening over and over again. And for some reason, as soon as you say that thought out loud, it's kind of like the kickstart to where the solution, the let go, the movement all of a sudden, you know?
Same with writing. There's something very magical about pen to paper.
And it's, you know, how you're using its left side, right side of your brain that's happening as you're doing that. So it's switching things up. Movement is happening. Right. And that's what we're getting at here is how do we not stay stuck in the same old, same old? Okay. How do we move and transform into our next best self? Okay. You know, our next
let's
layer.
Show everybody. Do you mind if we start by an opening prayer?
Sounds good to me.
Okay, good. Okay. So I'd just like for us to be vehicles for whatever it is that needs to be revealed to everyone. And to everyone that's watching, and pray that this is for everyone's highest good, and that we allow the divine to run the show. Thank you. Okay.
Okay. So I like to use, you know, a scale from 0 to 10. Okay. And I always ask people, you know, pick an issue and then tell me where it is. 10 is like, I'm about to have a nervous breakdown about it. It's like causes me so much stress all day, every day. And 1 is like hardly anything, down to 0, you know, nothing. It does not an issue. So you wouldn't obviously choose that because it wouldn't be an issue. So it's probably somewhere around a 5 or higher. Right. Of an issue that you're going to pick today that would be good to.
Okay, so did I say the issue first?
Yes.
Or, okay, the issue is I'm not certain what's happening in my marriage. I don't know if we're going to be divorced or back together again. Mm-hmm. And he's the great love of my life, and I know that he's my twin flame and my soulmate. Yeah. And I'm afraid that I caused irreparable damage. Mm-hmm. So that's my issue. And it varies. Some days I can be at a 3 and be very spiritual fit to a 5, and some days it's a 10. It usually hits me at least daily at a 10. Yeah. Where I'm crying that guttural sob. Yeah. You know?
And so, what do you think is the greatest little nugget of pain there that about the whole situation of whether you were to leave or to stay together? Like, what causes the most stress about it?
To leave or to stay together. I think the greatest pain for me is the fact that I caused someone that I loved that much pain. And I was in my disease, so I did not recognize what I was doing. And now that I'm sober, I can see that, and that causes me so much pain. But as far as if we stay together or leave, I think my greatest fear is that I've never loved anybody and that I know that he is my soulmate. And that makes me think, well, then what's the purpose? I mean, if I'm not going to be able to love like that again, you know, I'm always going to be in that state of pain that's just not going to happen again. Does that make sense?
So the greatest fear is that he is going to choose to leave.
Yes.
And that you're not going to have that love of your life with you.
Yes, and that he's not going to give me the opportunity to show him that I'm not who I was.
Yeah.
Because I have changed and come back to who I really am.
Right.
In the short time that we've been apart. It's been 4 months, it's really not a short time. And I'm just not that person anymore. And I would really...
How long have you been together?
We were together over 3 years, and we spent every single day together.
Yeah.
I've never been away from him for this long in my life.
Yeah.
And so it was codependent, I can admit it.
Yeah.
But it was always that great love. Like I wanted to be with him all the time.
Yeah.
He's my best friend.
And so you've been apart for 4 months. Are you talking much with him?
No, we're not allowed to speak.
Yeah.
There's something in place that keeps us apart. I've seen him a few times.
Yeah.
And every time I know that he's in just as much pain as I am.
Yeah.
So it's very conflicting for me.
Yeah.
You know, so it's very conflicting because I know he tells me, you know, that he would love nothing more than to come home.
Yeah.
But he doesn't think that it's the greatest idea.
Right.
So it's like, but you love me and you miss me and, you know,
Right.
so we should be together.
Right.
It's just stupid,
Yeah.
right? So.
Yeah. And so waiting to see what happens is a hard place to be.
And I'm an Aries with 13 houses in fire. I have absolutely no patience and no earth in my chart. So God has clearly got this happening to me for a reason. And, you know, I think it's to learn to trust.
Yeah.
I have faith and belief in God. I do.
Yeah.
But to trust is another thing because I want what I want when I want it.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
And I don't want to live in this uncomfortability and this uncertainty.
Yeah.
That's really an uncomfortable place.
Are you okay with using his first name? Do you have kids together?
No, I wish.
Yeah.
That was my one regret. I would have loved to have had his baby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So to start, my thoughts are a setup statement of, even though I'm really fearful I'm going to lose John. Does that resonate with you?
Yes.
Okay. So we're just going to get started. I'm going to speak and I'm going to do the points and you're just going to copy. When I pause, you repeat what I say. And then when I move to a new point, you move to a new point. And we're just going to go through this and just see. I kind of want you to, like, how are you feeling in your body thinking about talking about this?
There's a little anxiety, and my thought in this statement is that I would like to say that I'm grateful that there is a healing occurring in my marriage. It's going to heal either way.
Yeah.
Do you know? I don't know if that's wrong. Am I interrupting your process?
We can bring that in.
Okay.
Yes.
So tell me what to do.
Yeah, and so usually at some point, and it may not be the first round, it might even be the second or third round, there's an energy shift. And one or the other of us may experience or feel it. And at that point, I might start bringing in some of the positive.
Okay.
But the intention in the beginning is to really go towards the negative, because that's what we're usually holding on to in such a way that we're not able to free ourselves of the pain
Yeah.
that it's causing us.
Because I keep going into the quantum physics and manifesting and the law of attraction, and I get into this space where when I feel the mourning and the sadness, that I'm afraid it's blocking that.
Yes.
So.
And this is a huge thing that I think ends up happening a lot to people is when they learn about manifestation is like putting so much energy and tension into that positive, which is helpful. But if there's all these negatives that are kind of locked in your body still, it's counteracting, you know? And so it makes it hard to really manifest your dreams as fully and bigly as you can, you know?
Get it out of me.
Because you're kind of playing this tug of war game
Yes.
with what you want and what you haven't released and what you haven't processed and really shifted with yet. And so you keep coming back into these old holes and blocks and fears and, you know, and then you're like, wait, I can't be there. And so you stop and you go back to your manifestation place and it, you know, things happen and you start to get good things going and then eventually you fall back into this hole because it's still there. And that's part of life. Like, it's not like any one of us is going to instantly jump and be perfect at any of this. Like, it's a process of learning about yourself and what you're still holding on to. And some of it is still subconscious, so you don't even know it's there yet.
Right.
And so as you peel away the layers of the onion, like we talked about earlier, just like, you know, you're peeling away and discovering new parts of yourself that aren't really conscious yet. And so as you bring them to light, you just keep working with it.
Okay.
And releasing.
Okay.
So we're going to kind of stay in that icky part.
Okay.
And when releases are happening, you might cry.
Okay.
You might yawn.
Okay.
You might giggle. You might just start to feel kind of tired.
Okay.
And so those are all signs that releasing is happening.
Okay.
And, you know, in these moments, if, you know, we may or may not experience any of those, that doesn't necessarily mean that nothing happened.
I usually cry. I'm a crier.
We should have had some tissues on here. I forgot to bring them. So we're just going to get started. And for those who are watching, you can just tap along so that you can start getting used to where these points are and how it feels to tap. And we're just lightly tapping. You don't want to hurt yourself. And if you're not exactly on the point, it's okay, because it's the vibration of the tap that is actually getting to those meridian points and releasing and moving energy. And so don't panic about, oh, is that exactly right? And that's what I love to teach my students is like, this does not have to be done perfectly. If you forget a point or you don't say something, you know, you can say anything and it's helping. You're expressing yourself. And so it's helping.
Right.
You know, it's shifting. You're making movement by not keeping it locked up inside.
Okay.
And so it doesn't really matter what you say. It can be, you can disagree with it later and change it later, you know?
Okay.
The point is exploration and movement.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
So we're going to start on the karate chop point. Even though I'm so afraid I'm going to lose John.
Even though I'm so afraid I'm going to lose John.
He's my soulmate.
He's my soulmate.
And I want to be with him.
Oh, and I want to be with him.
So badly.
So badly.
Sometimes I feel desperate.
Oh, dude, sometimes I feel desperate.
And it brings up that fear.
And it brings up that fear.
What if?
What if?
What if we can't be together?
Oh, what if we can't be together?
And I completely love and accept myself.
I completely love and accept myself.
Even though I am so scared I'm going to lose John.
Even though I'm so scared I'm going to lose John.
I did things that weren't very kind.
Oh, I did things that weren't very kind.
I wasn't in my right mind.
I was not in my right mind.
And I didn't mean it.
I didn't mean it.
But I don't know if he can move past it.
I don't know if he can move past it.
And see me for my new self.
And see me for my new self.
My true self.
My true self.
And I completely love and accept myself.
I completely love and accept myself.
And I really want to be able to honor whatever he needs to do in his life.
I do want to honor whatever he needs to do in his life.
Even though I'm so scared.
Even though I'm so scared.
I feel almost desperate.
I feel almost desperate.
I get worried.
I get worried.
I ruminate over thoughts.
Ruminate over thoughts.
Why did I do what I did?
Why did I do what I did?
But I forgive myself.
I forgive myself.
I love and accept myself.
I love and accept myself.
And we're going to go to the eyebrow.
Does it matter which one?
Nope, either side. I feel so scared.
I feel so scared.
So I'm afraid that I ruined something that was so beautiful.
I'm afraid that I ruined something that was so beautiful.
I'm scared of my darkness.
I'm scared of my darkness.
It has the ability to take me over.
It has the ability to take me over.
I'm going to move to the side of your eye. I'm afraid I might do some of those things again.
I'm afraid I might do some of those things again.
I'm not proud of myself.
I am not proud of myself.
Those things I did when I was under the influence of drugs.
Those things that I did while I was under the influence of drugs and alcohol.
They weren't me.
They weren't me.
But nonetheless, I did them.
But nonetheless, I did them.
And under your eye. I feel embarrassed.
I feel embarrassed.
I feel ashamed.
Oh, I do. I feel ashamed.
I shouldn't have done that.
I shouldn't have done that.
I just want to cry sometimes.
Oh, I cry all the time.
Under your nose. I feel like I'm not good enough.
I feel like I'm not good enough.
Maybe I'm not good enough for John.
Oh, I can't say that.
Try to.
Oh my God. Maybe I'm not good enough for John.
What if I'm not good enough for John?
What if I'm not good enough for John?
What if he can't accept me as I am?
What if he can't accept me as I am? Oh, this is hard.
With all the good and the bad.
With all the good and the bad.
On your chin.
Thank God.
So scary for me.
It's so scary for me.
I don't know if I can accept all of myself.
I don't know if I can accept all of myself.
I'm really ashamed of what I did.
I'm really ashamed of what I did.
And I know it hurt him badly.
Oh, it hurt him so badly.
I wasn't in my right mind.
I wasn't in my right mind.
And I've gotten on a good path now.
I am on a good path now.
But I worry it's too late.
But I worry it's too late.
On your chest. I am so worried it's too late.
I am so worried it's too late.
Because I really feel like John is my soulmate.
Because I know John is my soulmate.
And what if he chooses not to be with me?
And what if he chooses not to be with me?
What's next?
What's next?
I don't understand.
I don't understand.
If he's my soulmate, why can't we be together?
If he's my soulmate, why can't we be together?
But maybe there's a lesson I'm not thinking about here.
Maybe there's a lesson I'm not thinking about here.
Under your arm. Maybe there's something different that's supposed to happen.
Maybe there's something different that's supposed to happen.
On top of your head.
Oh, my favorite.
I feel a little more open.
I do feel a little more open.
I've been really stuck in what I want to happen.
Oh, I've been really stuck in what I want to happen.
On the corner of your eye. I really can't envision anything other than being with John.
I really can't envision anything other than being with John.
Which keeps me locked up and scared.
Which keeps me locked up and scared.
Because what if that's not what's going to happen?
Oh, because what if that's not what's going to happen?
I don't know what I would do.
I don't know what I would do.
On the side of your eye. I'm so scared of that.
I am so scared of that.
I'm scared of sinking into a deep hole.
I really am scared of sinking into a deep hole.
And then would I be able to maintain healthy boundaries?
And then would I be able to maintain healthy boundaries?
Would I sink back into drinking again?
Never. Would I sink back into drinking again? I could never go back to being her again. But I
feel like I could never go back.
I feel like I could never go back.
But there's a little tiny part of me that's scared.
There is, you're right. There's a little tiny part of me that's scared.
What if?
What if?
What if I lost it?
What if I lost it?
Under your eye. Even though I have so many good tools and so much support.
Even though I have so many good tools and so much support.
I feel like I've come so far.
I have come so far. Thank you, God.
There's that little wiggling fear in me still.
Oh, there is that little wiggling fear inside of me still.
What if?
What if?
What if I sink so deep?
What if I sink so deep?
That I make a bad choice again.
That I make a bad choice again.
Under your nose. I fear losing John might do that.
I fear losing John might do that.
I don't know what to do.
I don't know what to do.
I feel a little stuck.
I feel a little stuck.
On your chin.
The lip is the hardest. Oh.
I feel stuck in what I think has to be the solution for the future.
I hate you right now. I feel stuck in what I think has to be the solution for the future. It is so true.
It is so hard to open up to multiple possibilities.
It is so hard to open up to multiple possibilities.
There could be another possibility that would be good for me.
There could be another possibility that would be good for me.
And I could still love.
And I could still love.
Maybe I wouldn't sink so deep.
Maybe I wouldn't sink so deep.
Maybe I'd surprise myself.
Maybe I'd surprise myself.
And on your chest. What is it that I'm not willing to love in myself?
What is it that I'm not willing to love in myself?
That's where the fear comes from.
It's that hole in my heart that I believe somewhere deep inside of me that I am unlovable.
I just am not sure I'm lovable.
I am just not sure that I'm lovable.
Under your arm. I'm just not sure I'm lovable.
I'm just not sure I'm lovable.
Part of me knows I am.
Part of me knows I am.
And part of me is still so scared that I'm not.
Part of me is still so scared that I'm not.
I don't have enough experience yet.
I don't have enough experience yet.
To trust what I know to be true.
Trust what I know to be true.
That I am actually lovable.
That I am actually lovable.
That huge weight.
That huge weight.
Of what if.
Of what if.
What if John says no?
What if John says no?
Does that actually mean I'm not lovable?
Does that actually mean I'm not lovable?
I think I've determined that that's what it will mean.
That is what I've determined it will mean.
But maybe it's just that I'm not lovable to him in this moment.
Maybe it's just that I'm not lovable to him in this moment.
Maybe it actually has nothing to do with love.
Maybe it has actually nothing to do with love.
Maybe he loves me to pieces.
He does.
And I am lovable.
And I am lovable.
It's just our journey.
It's just our journey.
And on top of your head.
On top of my head, my favorite.
Things come up that we don't understand.
Things come up that we don't understand.
Sometimes, in some moments, maybe we're not right for each other.
Sometimes, in some moments, maybe we're not right for each other.
And maybe we don't quite have the strength to not drown each other.
Maybe we don't quite have the strength to not drown each other.
And really set each other free.
And really set each other free.
Maybe timing isn't right yet.
Maybe the timing isn't right yet.
Even though I think it is.
Even though I think it is.
Maybe for whatever reasons it's not right for John at this time.
Maybe for whatever reasons it's not right for John at this time.
He has a different path.
he has a different path.
And other things he has to learn.
And other things he has to learn.
That aren't going to come from me.
That aren't going to come from me.
So who knows?
Who knows?
Can I open my heart up to the unknown?
Can I open my heart up to the unknown?
And trust that it's not about love.
And trust that it's not about love.
It's just about old stuff.
It's just about old stuff.
And the path we need to take to unveil them.
And the path that we need to take to unveil them.
I'm open to a new option.
I'm open to a new option.
That might be better for both of us.
That might be better for both of us.
And that may or may not be being together.
And that may or may not be being together.
We're just going to pause.
That's an amazing energy that just traveled through my body. Everything's brighter. Wow, you're a glow. Wow. That was really powerful.
Yeah.
Wow.
So if you think back to 0 to 10, what comes up you think about?
2.
Yeah.
A 2. I feel so grounded and connected. I feel like I'm seeing trails. I feel so grounded and connected and opened as well.
Yeah.
Opened, like some other door has opened. Because all the things that you said to me were things that I was refusing to say out loud. Because I thought that they were blocking me from manifesting what it was I wanted. But it was just like you said.
It's actually just blocking your energy from manifesting what you want.
It really is. Yeah. Wow, that was incredible. I used to teach tapping in yoga, but I didn't do the wording. We would just tap the points. I would do it before Shavasana.
Yeah.
And, to just kind of relax people and do the thing. I had never really understood what tapping truly was until you sat on this couch.
Yeah.
And I cannot recommend it enough. Please, if you did not just go through that exercise with us, try it. That just changed my life. That just changed my life. Wow, I'm so blessed to be able to sit on this couch with incredible people. Just imagine it's only the beginning.
Yeah.
Wow. That's astonishing. I am so glad that you found your gift.
Yeah.
I am so glad that you found. I have to hug you. I don't even know if you Thank you so much. Yeah. What a gift and a blessing. I just have one last question for you. When you do this, do you receive, I know when I do Reiki, a lot of I have to put a protective golden bubble over me because otherwise I will pick up their energies. Do you pick up any of the energies from the people that you work with?
I don't, and I don't know if that's like I naturally have some protective energies around me, or if it's just because I'm tapping as I'm doing it, so it's kind of not allowing the energies to enter. Okay. And because I really feel like I'm you, not me. You know what I mean? Like I'm kind of putting myself, separating myself from the experience. So it's more like I'm talking as you. Right. You know? And so I don't consciously put up blocks, but I haven't felt like I've been affected yet.
That's really nice.
So we'll see if in the future I meet somebody whose energy, I struggle with, but so far, so good.
I'm sorry to interrupt. I think that it's really amazing that you said, what I heard you say was that you're me. So you're actually tapping into what's going on with me and my innermost fears, and you're voicing them. You're putting words to those things. So at the end of the session, is there, just because you had that, is there something that you feel? Like, is there a message for me? Is there something, do you do that at the end of a session, or?
We just really, talk about what was the realization, what was the take-home message that you resonate with, because I could say a message to you of what I suggest, but somehow when you come up with that of like, what just happened? What do you think just happened for you that's different, that you opened up to?
I think for me it was, I've been working because I've been having this thing, and like I said, I have faith and I have belief in God, but the trusting in God because of what I want. And there's a thing that we say, and it's supposed to be, thy will be done. Now, I've been petrified to say that, because in saying that, that means I'm letting go of all control. And I have to trust that God really does have my best interest at heart. And I think that what this did was that unblocked that part of me, and I had the ability, it still scares me slightly, I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
But I can start saying that on a daily basis. Thy will be done, and whatever is best for the both of us will happen.
Right.
Because who knows? I mean, because we are twin flames doesn't mean that this is the end of it. It doesn't mean that we're not going to come back together in another place in time.
Right.
It may not happen the way that I would like it to manifest, but maybe that's the whole thing, is that I just need to let go of that. I mean, think about it. How many times, it's the expectations that kill us. They're planned disappointments.
Yes.
And just to really be open. I think that that's what that granted me.
Yeah.
Was the opportunity to allow myself to be open to all possibilities.
Right.
To just let go of the control.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean I'm not going to take it back as soon as you walk out of the studio.
Well, and that's the thing, is like, because this is old conditioning, right? Mm-hmm. The program is still running until we fully reprogram. And so we have to keep working with it. And
so I'm going to keep watching this over and over again. I'm going to retap myself all the time.
And when you hit, you hit another moment where you're actually in it and you feel down, that's a really beautiful time to do it, because you're in that energy so fully of your pain, and you might be having a crying moment and you can really work with it. I'm just so sad right now. I really, really want to be with John. Yeah. I just want to be with him so badly. I feel desperate, and you can just really go to that feeling and be with it.
And that word is so powerful. I feel desperate.
Yeah.
Because people in desperation do a lot of stupid things.
Right.
Yes, and I have.
Yeah. And to acknowledge that it's okay that you feel that way. Like, it's not a shameful, bad thing.
Right,
it's a
as we're
part
taught.
of us. And when we acknowledge and love it, it's easier to control it and move beyond it and shift it into something more positive for us.
Right.
But when we avoid it because we're ashamed of it or think it's bad or not good enough or whatever, that's when we just are locking it in versus helping us move with it.
Right.
So.
All right, I think we've been here for an hour. Is there something that you want to say? Is there one message that you could get across? If there's one thing that you could say to people, I don't know, you'll know what it is.
Yeah.
What is it you want to say?
I think my big message, and that's some of why I chose Inner Wisdom, Health and Wellness, Inner Wisdom as kind of the name of my business, is just that's what we're really wanting to connect with, is our own truth, because we're all authentic individuals and we all have our own gifts and our own passions and our own excitement and our own traumas, and we're all so different. And yet we're taught to try and conform, and it's really about being your authentic self. And the more your authentic self comes to life, the happier you are. And so it's about coming back to you. And this is one of those modalities that I think really helps you come back to you, especially when you take charge of doing it yourself.
Nice.
Because you're giving yourself that power. You're saying, I am powerful. I have power to change what has been programmed in me, and believe in myself, believe in my truth, believe in what I have to give,
Right.
So coming home to yourself, come home to yourself, however you can, with whatever modality resonates with you. And that's the thing. Some of you might be watching and being like, that doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't resonate with me. And some of you are like, oh my God, I need a session now,
Right. And you can have a session with her at any time. Her information is going to be underneath her name so that you can reach this beautiful lady. And I would like to, I think that she summed up so beautifully the truth. And I would like to end with saying, what's today's quote? Some people are so busy dying that they've forgotten to live. So what are you doing with today? And what are you doing to help change another human being today, to help them to live their best life? Many blessings and namaste.
Namaste.